54,000 tons of gold is still to be found. What would happen if that much gold bullion was to be found? Would it affect gold's price? Well, watch this video to find out more. Okay, so we've gone through the introduction of this video. There's over 54,000 tons of gold still to be found. That's what estimations say are below ground. However, that may seem like a lot, but to put that into perspective of what's already been mined, that is less than 30% of what has already been discovered and mined from the Earth's crust. But nonetheless, the estimation of 54,000 tons of gold bullion still in the Earth's surface, the crust of the Earth, is pretty significant. Can you imagine if that was found? And that leads me to the next question. What would happen if a huge amount of gold deposits was found? In fact, I saw a video today that got me thinking this very question. In South Africa, miners found an absolutely huge deposit of gold. It was in fact gigantic nugget rocks. I mean, it was astronomical. And it got me thinking, how much gold is there left to be found? And what would happen if it was found? Well, if a huge amount of gold was found, it would in fact impact the price of gold. Why would it do that? Well, simply because supply would then beat demand. Now, of course, we're talking about an astronomical amount here. We're not talking in hundreds or even thousands of ounces. We're talking in the tens to hundreds of thousands of ounces, maybe even millions. Of course, there is so many people in this world. It's around 8 to 9 billion, I believe, at the moment. And there is an awful lot of investors and people with money. So, although there is a lot of people to buy gold, it would have to be a ridiculous amount for it to affect the price. But nonetheless, it's completely possible. We see it in the markets when countries like China or the United States do massive gold dumps or massive gold purchases. And we can see spikes and dips in the market. This sometimes leads to bull runs, which can obviously affect the price of gold. And then because of that, people tend to follow the train that follows. However, if we were to compare it to, say, aluminium, it wouldn't probably drop like the price of aluminium did when the new chemical process was discovered for basically creating, aluminium. Also, aluminium is extremely abundant. I know this is slightly off topic when comparing it to gold, but I thought that was an interesting topic because when I was researching for this episode, I didn't realize that there was a new chemical process previously in the past when discovered, which made a massive difference to the sourcing and mining and creation of aluminium. Could this happen with gold? Probably not. I think we would already know, but it's an interesting prospect nonetheless. Now, on the topic of gold, I wanted to get some facts. I wanted to get some real fun and exciting information, because if there is 54,000 tons of gold, maybe more, maybe less, still to be found and mined in the Earth's crust, it makes me think and wonder more about the yellow metal. So let's go through some facts about gold bullion. Starting off, there is an estimation to be enough gold bullion to cover the Earth's entire surface in 1.5 meters of gold. 99% of all precious metals can be found in the Earth's core. The planet Jupiter contains the most gold. I mean, that's a given considering the size of the planet when comparing it to the other planets in our Milky Way system. John Paulson, who is a hedge fund manager and very well known in the investment world for being someone who predicted the 2007 mortgage financial crash, he's supposed to have the largest private gold reserve. Of course, what is stated and who actually has what are two different things, but as it stands, he's supposed to be one of the people with the largest private gold reserves in the entire world. What countries have the most gold? Well, in at number 4, it would be France. Number 3, it would be Italy. Number 2 would be Germany. And number 1 is the United States of America. 20 million tons of dissolved gold are in the ocean. To put that in perspective, that's 1 gram of gold for every 110 million tons of ocean water. Now, of course, that is dissolved gold that's been dissolved through limestone, corrosion and rocks and earth and sand sort of grinding together over hundreds and hundreds of million years. But 20 million tons of dissolved gold are supposed to be in the ocean. On to our next fact. Gold is the densest of all metals. Some of you may know that already. And gold is in fact the only yellow metal. There's some facts on gold bullion. I really wanted to go through them because I thought it was some really interesting topics to hear about the yellow metal. Now, moving on, is it exciting or is it scary? The idea of a large gold deposit being found. Well, for me, I think it's a bit of both. I think it's exciting because if you're already an investor in the commodity that is gold bullion, precious metals, it could potentially help the price of gold. It could potentially make it worse. It could potentially have a temporary drop in the price. I think it's more exciting than scary. I think gold has been around long enough, it's been around for over 4,000 years, that it can withstand big gold deposits being found. And anything to do with market turmoil surrounding precious metals, I think it's such a steadfast investment that really it's more exciting when things like this happen, because gold is quite a platonic investment. It's quite boring. It's quite stale. We all know it's a long-term investment. It's very, very platonic. So when things like this happen, I think it does stir up a bit of muster and a bit of excitement. So I would say it's definitely more exciting than scary. Obviously, there are reasons to be scared, potentially if there was a huge gold deposit found, or maybe a country like China or the United States, France, Germany or Italy, the countries with the most gold, if they were to sell off a huge proportion, then yeah, maybe it might make you consider something regarding your gold. Maybe you're just about to sell it and liquidate it for your early retirement. Maybe you're looking to sell it to put money into a different investment. Maybe you need to sell it because, you've got to pay off some emergency debts. That might make you consider holding off whether the price has just dipped, or maybe selling straight away if the price has gone high. So there's definitely pros and cons surrounding large gold deposits being found. I don't think necessarily you should be scared. I think it should be looked upon with excitement. It keeps it fresh and it keeps it in the forefront of investors' mind. Now, gold as an investment, there's some important things to mention. I often talk about these things, but I do like repeating myself on it because it's such a valuable source of investment and information. For me, gold is absolutely the backbone of my investment portfolio. My other ones, maybe like index funds and property, maybe even cryptocurrencies, I feel like there's risk there. And of course, don't get me wrong, there's risk with every investment, even gold bullion. But I feel like it's more of a savings account. I never feel like I'm actually spending money when I'm investing in gold. I feel like I'm just transferring capital into an asset that is going to hedge against inflation, preserve my wealth, become a tangible asset that I can own in my physical presence and have full control of. It's extremely liquid, so I can liquidate it whenever I need to. Also, there's tax benefits as well, of course. If you're a wise investor, and like anyone really in the general public, no one wants to pay tax. So, of course, there are great reasons to invest in gold. Buying Britannias or any coin minted from the Royal Mint will give you the benefit of being capital gains tax exempt, at least for now. And of course, it's a protection. It's a wealth preservation device. It's the backbone of your savings, your investment portfolio. Not only that, but it's fun. It's a fun way to save. Okay, so moving on. Should we plan for the future of gold? It's a good question. We always look at the past of gold. Historically, a good way to predict the future is to look at the past. But that's not always a guaranteed thing when referring to investments. For sure, it gives you an indication, but it doesn't give you a categorical definite answer. If we knew that, then we'd all be multimillionaires, wouldn't we? But in the simplest of answers, should we plan for the future of gold? Yeah, I think we should. I think as an investor, you should always be considering what the potential outlook is for your investment vehicle. For me, I find myself looking more to the future when it comes to silver. I feel like gold is very steadfast, it's platonic, so yes, it's boring, but it's a long-term safe investment. I don't see particularly high risks for it, so therefore I don't really look too much into the future of what could happen. And I'm very open-minded with my investments. Even gold, I have the mindset that it's okay if all of this goes to zero. because I think it's really important to keep emotions out of investing. Not only does it stop you from making impulsive decisions, but if the worst case scenario was to happen and you were to lose massive amounts of capital, if there was market crashes, even in gold, I think you need to be able to mentally take that hit. Otherwise, it could dramatically hit you. I think in 2007 or 8, there was an estimated 10,000 suicides just from that recession in the United States. So I think it's a very, very important point to have a mental stability surrounding the future of your investments, specifically gold. Talking about gold specifically, let's look at its price history. Well, in the last 20 years, and the reason I use 20 years, 2 decades, is because I think that's a very good average amount of time for gold investors. In the last 20 years, its low was £215.54, and its high, as of this week, was £1,932.98. That's an increase of £1,686.21, or if we look at that in percentage terms, that's an increase of 782.33%. So fantastic returns for a 20-year investment that's considered low risk. In conclusion, though, I found that with gold, you don't need to worry. In my opinion, and I'm no financial advisor, I'm just someone who's been investing for 4 to 5 years, I found that gold is a safe investment. However, it doesn't come without risk. I think everything regarding investing does have risks. I don't think anything is risk-free. But as investments go, for me, gold is the safest of the investment vehicles within my portfolio. I also believe it's better to have it than need it and not have it. And I also think that if you're considering buying more gold or buying your first amount of gold, I think a good way to summarize whether you should buy it now or wait is the analogy of the tree. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. However, the next best time is today. And on that topic, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. This has been a video on 54,000 tons of gold and what would happen if a large deposit was found. Let me know in the comment section below if you've enjoyed this topic of content. I've really enjoyed filming it, and I look forward to reading all of your wonderful comments. And again, if you have enjoyed, please consider hitting that like button. And if you want to see more content, click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all of our future episodes. Until next time, I'll see you all in the very next episode. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.